Hey YouTube, it's the Masked Interpreter back for another one. Before I get started, I just want to stipulate that I'm not saying or expressing that I know exactly what the songwriter was intending to, mean, or what their intention was when writing the song. This is my interpretation of the song. Whether or not it's right is up to you to decide. Now, I also want to say that I'm not an expert in anything, especially singing. Psychology and evolution and some of the other sciences are simply just a hobby. I kind of enjoy the subjects and enjoy learning. So this is a bit of an exercise for me to evolve myself. So this song, "Karma Police" by Radiohead, I feel as though it's a song of resentment and anger, which then is kind of like realized, and there's redemption by the end of the song. And from what I can gather, it seems to be about the music industry and Radiohead's issue with the people running the music industry. So here we go. Arrest this man, he talks in maths. He buzzes like a fridge, he's like a detuned radio. All right, so first verse. I'm actually going to get into a little bit of current thoughts in neurology and current thoughts on the topic of consciousness and how the two relate. So, in this verse, I believe the songwriter is referring to, people who occupy the top positions in, the hierarchy of industry, the organized type person that talks in maths and numbers and what I believe Tom York is saying here is like he wants these people to pay a price for maybe bastardizing the music industry, something that's supposed to be just love and beauty is kind of it has been monetized and, kind of made a cheap shell of itself because of the greed at the corporate level. So he wants, some kind of. He's a little bit resentful towards the fact that these people are making a boatload of money off of his intellectual property, and that's fair. So that's kind of where I think it's coming from, and so now in the last part of the verse, it refers to he buzzes like a detuned radio. So. Organized people typically think more with the right hemisphere of their brain. Now, if you're left-handed, you automatically by default fall into the right brain type thinking. Now, it's known known in the field of neurology that we have two hemispheres, and you can actually completely bifurcate these two hemispheres, and they'll still work. Your brain will still function exactly how it does, with some slight discrepancies. But so if you think primarily with your right side brain, you're more of an organized type person. So now this is a popular, well, maybe not a popular, but it's a re-emerging thought in the field of consciousness and neurology that our mind, our brain, is a tuner for consciousness. And if you think primarily with your one hemisphere of mind, you might be like a detuned, rather than having both aligned, one side, the other side, and you think with both, think with your whole brain. That's possibly what the songwriter's getting at here, where he buzzes like a detuned radio because half of his brain isn't even tuned into his, consciousness. Now, who knows what Radiohead thinks about consciousness, and who knows? I mean, like the name of their band is Radiohead, so maybe they were ahead of the curve on this one. Karma police, arrest this girl. Her Hitler hairdo is making me feel ill, and we have crashed the party. All right, second verse is much like the first. Now, I don't think. I think Radiohead threw this one in there just to, not to be biased against the genders. Didn't want to discriminate. So, if we think about Hitler, Hitler was somebody who was incredibly organized. He organized the Germans into a force that nearly conquered the world. I mean, one country versus the whole world lasted for, 4 to 5 years? That's fairly impressive. I mean, awfully, it's just the most awful thing, the most horrible thing that's happened in modern history. Impressive nonetheless, unfortunately. So Hitler, you could call him a very organized person. He seemed to walk the walk when it comes to that. So he's, not saying this organized woman is Hitler. She has a Hitler hairdo, so she's an organized type person. And now this is the end of the verse in this song, the end of the verse here is saying that we've crashed their party. So he's like, we're going to tear it down. We want to. We'll be the ones that pay out the karma. The karma won't be a natural force the natural force of the universe will be played out through our action. So we've crashed your party, and we're gonna, we're gonna be the arbiters of your destruction. This is what you get. This is what you get. what you get when you mess with us. So the chorus is Radiohead as Karma. They're like, we're the artists. We're the ones that make the beauty of this world. We're the ones that make this life worth living. And you're ruining it by creating a greed machine, this corporate entity that's like, blah, sucks. And it's like, this is what you get. This is what you get when you mess with the creators of beauty and karma and love, and like, you're gonna bastardize love and get away with it. No. That's what he's saying. It's like, no, you're not gonna get away with it. This is what you get. All right. So very, very resentful. A very resentful type attitude. Karma police. I've given all I can, but it's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll. Okay, third verse. Third verse is the realization verse, where it's like, this is, what does he say? He says, he's given all he can. He's done what he's done what he can do to fulfill karma's wish. But maybe the machine is too big for just him to destroy, and maybe it's not worth destroying. Maybe he needs it as much as they need him. So it's like, well, I guess if I look at this from the opposite perspective and change my bias for a second, I can see that there is some use. And maybe that's the only way that they know how to live. That's their path to enlightenment. My path is different than their path. I love that I get to experience music, and maybe I feel bad that these people don't get to experience love in that way. That's sometimes how I feel as being a musician. It's like when I hear all the intricacies and the detail, and just like a bass line that's hidden underneath like a drum track, or like a nice, beautiful roll of the drums. These little things that really like give me a shot of serotonin or dopamine or whatever. I can't help but feeling a little bit sorry for the people that don't get to experience that. So maybe that's in this verse. That's kind of what he's thinking, and we're still on the payroll. We're taking cash. We're getting nice things in life because of the structure that was set up. Even though it's a greedy type structure, we're still benefiting from it. So maybe I was wrong. So there's this is the confliction verse. He's very conflicted in this verse, and then he comes to a greater realization at the end. This is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you get when you mess with us. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. Okay, so the outro is just after his realization. He wipes the sweat from his brow and says, "Phew, I almost lost myself. I almost became a resentful, ingrate. I almost became that which I hate." And he, wouldn't want to be treated in it that way. So maybe, you shouldn't treat others in that way. So that's the great realization that even though you don't agree with some people, they live a life that's different from you. It's literally because their brain is tuned differently. That they're wired, like all their neurological pathways, the syntax in their brain tells them to do something else to achieve happiness. And that's not something you can change very easily. It's written into your DNA, it's written into the coding of your brain. It's like you can only know your own experience and how you gain happiness from your experience. You should never assume that you know how somebody else is going to experience that same that same thing in the same way. They want the same things in life, and the path that they take is just different, and we have to accept that because it's just our neurology. It can't be. We can't program ourselves overnight. If you want to be something different, it takes a long time, and it can be worth it. But don't expect others to do it. So that's kind of the feeling here. That's it.